Hi, name's Dave Lewis, lamp worker here at Terrapin Glass Blowing Studio. I'm the new kid around the block. Not new to this type of glass, but new in this shop here. I started Boro work probably back 8 years ago now. I was an apprentice under a friend of mine for a good while. Reason why I went to glass, I dabbled in a bunch of other mediums of art. Never really made so much money in doing so, and I was the type of artist that needed to make money doing work with my hands. So had a friend doing this stuff, and he allowed me in his shop, and I picked up as much as I could, and within a year I was making money blowing glass. So the thing about glass I think that really intrigues me is the fact that you can control liquid and have it freeze in time for all to enjoy, you know, and it's just something that's really sparkly. I mean, like it's just like a jewel, you know, you walk past it in the sunlight, it's gonna catch your eye, and that's probably another reason why I like it so much, is because it's like a jewelry, you know, it's like a jewel or a gem, you know. It's so many things you can do with glass. It's like the possibilities are pretty much endless. So that's why I do it, and it's fun. Come on by and check it out. Suppose today what I'm gonna do for y'all is make an implosion pendant. An implosion meaning that when I gather all the glass and do my design on the bottom, all the clear glass will go surround the colored glass that I put on the bottom here and give us a sweet pattern on the other side. Something like that. So what I'm doing here now is just heating up my rod. I'm gonna get some of this junkier glass off the end. I want to get a nice gather of a ball in the end so I can flatten it and make a Maria. That's the first step to what I have to do. Get this nice and warm. Don't want too much of a ball because we don't want this pendant to be huge hanging off the person's neck. Liable to get knocked out if you start running and the thing hits you up in the face. There we go, I got a nice gather here. Gonna go for the Maria. Flatten it out on my marver. Make sure it's nice and parallel to me. Nice flat Maria right there. Alright, so what I'm gonna go for is a flower. The end result should be a flower on the inside of this glass when we get done. So I'm going to take this color right here. It's called Blue Moon. It's got some nice blue hues in it, really dark blues as well too. It always makes for a pretty flower on the other side. Flame control and lamp working is pretty key. Get it too hot, you can boil your colors. Get it too cold, you won't be able to do what you want with your colors. Need just the right touch, I guess. And all this stuff comes with time. As with any art or any kind of thing you do, you get better with it as time goes. So essentially what I'm doing right now is drawing the petals for the flower. So this one is going to have 5 petals. That's what I drew on the bottom. So now I just go ahead and melt it into the clear glass a little bit. I'm not really trying not to implode it yet. Just get it all melted in with the clear glass. Once I get it melted in with the clear glass is when I start doing some of my sweet trickery. Give it just I like to add a little effects, little dimples and whatnot onto the flower. You'll see why in a little bit. And I go down and flatten it back into the Maria I like. Make sure it's always parallel. You don't want this to gather offside or whatnot because it'll make your pendant offside, and I'm just particular. I like them to look pretty. Now that I got that flattened back on the inside there, I'm going to go in on the inside points of these petals on the inside here and put dimples in there. That should give the effect of looking like actual petals and stuff in the leaves. Take my little poker here and we get going. I heat up the end of one of these petals, nice and liquidy hot. Give it a poke on each flower petal. Dipping my tool in the water every now and again to cool it off so it doesn't stick to the glass. I suppose what you would refer to this tool as is basically a tungsten pick, but it's really not. It's more like dentistry tools that you actually use. It is ordered from a lamp working catalog, but when you get the package, it definitely looks like dentist tools. Alright, so now I have all my indentations on there. So now what we're going to do is start imploding. Now to get the imploding effect, you got to let gravity help you out, so that's why I'm giving this a nice angle on the glass as I rotate it. And this is only one design of many that you could be making on an implosion pendant. The example I showed you earlier was actually a butterfly implosion pendant. A bit more technical in how you lay down the lines and actually make it look like a butterfly on the outcome. So as you can see, the clear glass is starting to bring that color up inside the clear there, and it's starting to want to form back into a ball again. And once you get it to about this point, you want to go ahead and flatten it again. So now you can see the petals are starting to go in further, and they'll go in even further. But this is about the point I want to put the stamen in there. It's just going to be a simple little dot of caramel in the middle for the stamen. Be very careful not to touch the other petals, or else it won't look as good. They'll kind of mesh together and it won't give you the effect you're looking for. The other side being the lens. That's actually what it's called, is the lens side of it. You do all the work on the working side. When all the work's done on the working side, you go ahead and take it off the rod here, and we get to see the finished pretty product. All these processes are time consuming, but the effect in the end is always worth it if you do it right. As you see, I'm twisting the glass here one way, and then I twist it back the other way as to not disrupt the image that I placed on the inside, because again, we are playing with liquid here. If you roll it too much one way, you're going to get a distorted image on the inside and not looking like a flower. We want it to look like a flower. As you can see from the side angle, you can see all that color starting to come up inside the clear right there. We go ahead and flatten it again. Always trying to make sure it's parallel and pretty and even. So for all you people out there that see these imploding pendants, you're going to get an idea as to what it takes to actually make those outcomes. I mean, I've gotten quite the compliments in my years too, having people come up to me and ask me how I got the real flower inside the glass. It's quite a compliment as a glass blower to get somebody coming up to you to say that. It means you pulled it off, and you pulled it off quite well if someone thinks there's a real flower inside there. Or a butterfly for that matter. I've had people ask me if I've had, how I get the real butterfly inside of glass. It's all glass, it's all colored glass, and just put in the right spot to give you the sweet image on the other side. Now we're getting there. You can see that is doing something for sure. Probably another couple presses and we'll be there. Now, unlike the hot shop behind me, this glass here is borosilicate, which is a harder glass. It's the same type glass that you cook with, your Pyrex and stuff you use for the oven. So it takes a lot more heat to get this stuff hot than it does the soft glass over there. It's great stuff though, I love playing with boro. So my petals are coming along nicely. Almost ready to give this another press. I think that's going to be the last press for that one. Oh, it's looking good. All right. What I'm doing here is just going to add a little bit of clear to fill this void in the back here. Just like that. Made a little bit of a bubble, so I'm going to pick that right out. Just like so. I heat this all back up so I can make the bottom flat, and then I'm going to apply some color to the back of the pendant so it can make the flower pop a little more. Since I have a dark colored flower in there, that blue moon color that I used, I'm going to go ahead and take some white and spin that right on the back of it and give that a nice backer. Should make that flower pop nice. I just push that on there, spin the white while I'm in the flame, keep spinning until I get to my desired application. Right to the outside edge, like so. Now I'm just trying to heat that all in. Make it all pretty and uniform. Just about there. I'm pretty particular about how my things look, so I'll probably spend a little more time than most people would on this, but it pays to make stuff look pretty. That's looking good to me. Alright, so the next part is we have to tear this off the rod so we can get the lens look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this white that I just applied on the back as a punny, so that when I break my punny off, any white that's left behind, I don't really have to worry about it. If I used clear as a punny and I broke it off, there's a chance I could have a little clear on there, and that's just bothersome for Dave, so Dave would have to go back and pick it out. So instead of doing that, going for this. On center, just like anything else you do in glass, you want to have your punny nice and on center so everything's on center and everything's happy. Just going in at the point between the rod and the pendant, heating that up nice and hot. Now I'm slowly pulling them apart. And as I go, I'm going to switch it over like this and take the extra glass off the tip of the pendant onto the rod as to try and not waste any glass. Then I'll heat up my rod over here, get this nice and pretty, because I'm going to use this to put the hook on the pendant. So now I got my rod all ready. I'll keep the pendant warm while I'm trying to keep the rod nice and flat over here. Rod's about cooled off now. Now I'll go back and pick off the excess with my pliers. A lot of other glass blowers use tweezers and whatnot, but I'm what you would consider a garage glass blower. I use a lot of tools that you'd find in a garage for my work. It's cheaper, and yeah, they do the job, so why not do that? Like, I don't have glass shears. I have tin snips for glass shears, and they work perfectly. So now I've got this just about where I want it for a nice lens. And in about a minute here or a second, I'll pull it out and I'll show you guys. Still pretty warm, but yeah, you get the idea. There's a pretty flower in there. And once it cools off, you'll be able to see the blue hues and stuff that I was talking about. So let's go ahead and figure out where I want that hook to be placed. Make it look good right about there. It's almost like Bob Ross and his paintings, you know? Happy little tree goes right here. Only it's happy little glass goes right here. Any of you that don't know Bob Ross, you should know Bob Ross. Granted, he's not a glass blower, he's a painter, but still, an amazing artist at that. Heat up both ends, plop one down on one side, and make sure it's all on center still. Once stuff's cooled down enough, go ahead and tag that right there and melt the punny mark in. I just go ahead and flatten it on my marver a little bit and go back and zap it with the flame real quick, make sure everything's all happy. Grab my clear punny, make a nice point on the punny. This will be a cold seal, so I heat up the punny here, go in and tag it. We're all set, make sure it's all on center. And go up to the top here and start heating the rod so I can form that hook. There's a little bit of differences with soft glass and hard glass when you're doing pendants. When you make a pendant with soft glass, you're able to just go ahead and tag the end of it, not have to worry about acute angles. Well, borosilicate glass doesn't like acute angles. So when you have acute angles in borosilicate glass, it causes stress. Therefore, when you see a pendant made out of borosilicate glass, it should have all smooth edges on it, no acute angles whatsoever. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when I'm done. It's nice and white hot. Slowly pulling it out as I go. And we're going for the hook. Just like that. Tag the end, go in there and tear it off with the flame. And I just take the excess off with my pliers here. Right into the scrap tank there. Some more of my tools out of here, my dentistry tools. Heat up the back, flatten that in there a little bit. See, like if this was soft glass, I could get away with having it just like that. But this is borosilicate, it won't be happy if I do that. So I go in here and make sure all this stuff's gonna be nice and smooth and uniform and liquidy prettiness. Too much coffee this morning, that's why I'm all shaky. These tools I'm using right here are all made out of graphite. They won't stick to the glass at all. So that's what I'm talking about when I say all uniform and no acute angles. See, it's all flowing together, no sharp points on that hook whatsoever. Nice flower pendant. So now we go and I take my other set of pliers that I melted and shaped these two, heat them up a touch, grab them on the top there, snap it off at the punny mark, and you just melt that punny mark right in. That's all she wrote for that one.